Hey everyone, how are you today? This is my very first YouTube video, so thank you just for being here. I want to say if there's any adjustments that I need to make with the sounds in the background, please let me know just so I can sort of fine tune it and figure out what's going on. Today I just want to explain to myself sort of, I guess, who I am, maybe who you are, and how we're going to get where we are right now. And the beginning blocks, the foundation of that might be at a core root of who you are from beginning of childhood, beginning at your family dynamics, just the simple stuff. Nothing complicated, just making it really easy. So for an example, you grew up and you were in a family and you wanted to figure out who you are. Maybe you lost track of who you are as you got older. You look back and you're able to find out what that is. For me, that's going out there and exploring, getting educated, and having experiences with different types of sceneries so I can feel that my foundation is in the universe around me. I think that's a very popular thing for me to do. However, things I could digress on is that everything is always interchangeable and it is changing. Nothing's perfect in the way that we do it, and always taking out a piece of a building block, putting one new color in and changing it every now and then. The circuits, if you may, have been connected. They're moving forward and so are we. We're going into a direction that ultimately serves our fullest, highest purpose and will give us a changing day in our lives, as Dr. Something would say, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. But what I do know is that we are responsible for each and every single decision that we make in changing our lives and having that. So you're able to have all these things that you've ever wanted. You can start making YouTube videos. You can literally do anything that you want. I'm not stopping you. I also feel like maybe I am because I don't know. Because you're allowed to do whatever you want and you're watching this video. I don't know. But thank you for watching my video today. Appreciate it a lot. So things that we grow up on are different family dynamics, different relationship dynamics, and then there's relationships with ourselves, and there's different types of workplace relationships. Like, for an example, it's similar but a little bit different, I like to call it, is it's interchangeable. The way that we are as a human being. For an example, you do sales and marketing, whatever you're doing, it's phenomenal. It's good. Like, you're happy. But to find out who you are as a person, I think is more the better part, because you are not your job. You are not all these external things that like exist in life. You are essentially to an extent them, but you're not. Because people who think that you are a part of, like, if you see a YouTuber, do you think that like their whole life has to be about YouTube? Do you think that they can't go out there and enjoy their life and watch a movie every now and then? We'd be lying to ourselves if these people weren't trying to live the fullest lives. Sometimes it gets hard, sometimes it gets unbelievable, and sometimes we unbelieve things that are believable. So when we're looking at ourselves, we have this foundation and we've opened up a booklet and now it's starting to grow. The branches are flowing in different directions. You have different types of fruits, you have grapes, you have pears, you have apples, you have bananas. These trees are beautiful and they're phenomenal and they're all a part of you, who you are as a human being. Something that I want everyone to look at, if they haven't already, is the things that they've done when they were a child, like going out there and, for me, exploring and getting educated and seeing the different scenery in life, which I thought was phenomenal. And it's a part of my foundation still today. But it does change and it does shift, like I said. Take a deep look at that. It's extremely important for me, for you to do that. But also, individually, I'm my own human being. At the end of the day, I go home where I am or somewhere else and I sleep. I relax. Maybe I don't sleep. I go somewhere else. Does it even matter at this point? We're in these dynamics at work where people are getting angry, frustrated. They're throwing things at work. I know that because I've worked in dynamics where they do that. They're just so mad at themselves. These people are just so mad. And to be honest, there's times where I've been mad too. One of them particularly is when I'm not living up to the highest expectations that I have of myself, and I'm lowering myself to something that's nasty. There's like the false beliefs inside of myself that suck, which essentially make up who we are as people sometimes. And that's not generally who we are as people. It's like our mind is constantly filtering stuff, and to look at it is just awful. Like, for an example, we're walking through the day, intrusive thought. What do you do with the intrusive thought? Do you act on it or do you throw it away? Like, you have to do something to, you can acknowledge it. maybe something happened that made that happen. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't even care about it. Maybe I don't even care about where it came from, but I have to move on with my life and go somewhere else. And that's what I want you to do. If you're looking and you're in a workplace and you're finding that people are unhappy and they're unpleasant, and you are the one that's wondering, like, why are people so unhappy? And you start becoming unhappy, maybe you shouldn't be at that location. Maybe you should go somewhere else. Maybe you shouldn't be a cook. You're not a Gordon Ramsay. You don't like things being thrown and yelled and screamed in your face, do you? In fact, I've watched that guy and I used to get upset about him because he'd be always screaming in people's faces like just the worst stuff, like just treating people like garbage. Like, and it made me so mad. I'm so like compassionate about doing like just like a different like human, like that itself in turn is a human right to do what he's doing. I found that out recently too, and that things maybe weren't. I think that American news and like TV, they sort of speculate things, even just news everywhere. I don't want to generalize it as one thing because that wouldn't make any sense. You're in Australia, you're in Canada, you're in Japan, you're everywhere else. Sometimes they get a little bit too, the word for it, I'm forgetting, but I know that it has something to be like fantasized or romanticized, and you don't need that stuff. Like, why would you need a limerent object in your life? That's not something that you need constantly, and you could remove it. That's personally up to you, though. That's not how I want to be. I don't want to see myself as a limerent object either. I'm just a human being that's living my life, trying to go up to my fullest potential with the best currents that I have and making the connections with other people. But I'm not always perfect with it, and sometimes I drop off like everyone else. That's what I want you to say, or you to understand for yourself, that when you're getting down on yourself, you don't always have to hold on to that forever. That's just a vibration that you fell off track for half a second. And you can get back on track anytime you want. You just have to start doing the thing in action, that moment, that time. And things will be on track to the right direction that you need in your life. Maybe we can complain that we've been invalidated, we've been isolated, we've been distanced, we've had no respect, we've been controlled. We're meeting unrealistic standards, we feel visible, and maybe another one that I do have to read off of is having little autonomy. Little autonomy is extremely important into actually having autonomy, because that's where you begin the building blocks of your foundation and moving forward as a human being. I've seen people have their freakouts, do their stuff. I don't know why they're unhappy. That's not me anymore. Like, I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to see people unhappy. It's not what anyone should want for anyone. And quite frankly, I feel like I've done it because I haven't done anything for myself. So go out and do something for myself is what you should say to yourself. Like there's so many different opportunities out there to help out with environmental causes, to teach people about the education that maybe the methane gases up north, the permafrost it's coming out of is just causing a lot of greenhouse gases. And on top of everything, we have forest fires left, right, and center. And they feel like they're worse than before. And it's funny because I used to think that this wasn't a problem, but I think it's actually becoming real, where things are becoming talked about that aren't like speculated, that are false and fantasized about. Like, we're going to talk about politics and we're going to be like, we have liberal, conservative, we have Republican, we have Democrat, we have anything in between. We're going to get upset about these things. If we're in this echo chamber, the echo chamber is going to boom. You got to get out of that. Find somewhere else. I'm sick and tired of hearing nasty stuff on the news. You know, how dumb a president is. I'm tired of it. I'm not like into certain things though either. I am an individual, and there are things that I probably don't agree with you. I'm for an individual to have its own human right in moving forward as a person and giving them that opportunity to grow so they can become better, instead of watching people have their self-destructive behaviors. But I can't control that. It's something that I need to know. Something that we all need to take accountability for is ourselves and moving forward every single day. I just want to say one thing. I just want to say, when you start to find out what's causing the circuits to run, that's when you'll enter what I call the higher power. Thank you very much. Subscribe, share something about yourself, leave a comment. get to know yourself. Peace out. See you next time.